Welcome to Talking Industrial Automation, a podcast where you get to know the people who make modern industrial automation possible. You will get to hear from CSIA system integrators and industry partners to get a better understanding of how they help their clients solve process challenges and how they've earned success in their careers. Along the way, we will touch on system integration best practices, technology, trends, and challenges. Whether you are a manufacturer, end user, supplier, or system integrator, you will enjoy the insights these industry professionals bring to this podcast. Let's get started. Hi, my name is Lisa Richter, the host of Talking Industrial Automation, a podcast where you get to know the people who make modern industrial automation and processing possible. In today's episode, we're talking industrial automation with Rob Goldsmith, who serves as Director of Industrial Systems at Matrix. In this role, he drives the growth and strategic direction of factory automation, network infrastructure, and information systems. Rob started at Matrix back in 2003 and has built his entire career there, working his way up through roles such as controls engineer, project manager, senior project manager, and associate director before stepping into his current leadership position. Today, he oversees one of the largest independent integration teams in North America with the expertise and scale to deliver everything from small retrofit projects to large plant-wide greenfield installations. Underpinning all that work is the Matrix process, a proven project delivery methodology backed by ISO and CSIA best practice certification. His deep background in manufacturing and operations within the life sciences industry gives him a distinctive lens on how to deliver automation solutions that are both innovative and reliable. Rob, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. It's great to be here.
So tell me, how in the world did you choose a career in control system integration?
Well, it's actually interesting. I like to say that it actually chose me. So my degree is in bioengineering, which you may think is, well, how does that relate to system integration, right? So I had got to the point in my college career where I was looking for one last co-op, and I wanted to stay local I'm kind of born and raised in Northwest Ohio. I went to the University of Toledo. That's where I got my degree. I was looking to stay kind of in this area, and there weren't really many options for bioengineers. And then there comes Matrix. At the time, Matrix was doing are about to start quite a bit of work in the life sciences industry. And so what they were doing is looking for folks that had more of that process background. So like a bioengineer who understands bioprocessing, that we're going to control that part of the plant. So I don't go find some young engineers and bring them in, and we're going to teach them how to do the programming. And so I was introduced to Matrix through the co-op program and joined. And here 23 years later, I'm still here. So.
And you have the title for your memoir, One Last Co-op.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Well, you kind of talked a little bit about how you got started, but talk a little bit more about that early stage, early career, and how you got that started.
Yeah, so I guess it's interesting. I'll talk more about kind of how Matrix got started, because it's a similar parallel to mine. And coincidentally, Matrix was founded in 1980, which is actually the same year I was born. So I guess it's fate, right? But Matrix started more on the process design, instrumentation side of things, and naturally discovered that, hey, we're providing this service. There's a huge need for the automation side of it. So let's grow that skill set and provide that service. And really that blew up. That became a huge part of our business. And I say ours, Matrix's, and then later on brought me in and kind of followed the same suit. Like I said, I was brought in more out of the process background, learning the automation, kind of how Matrix was founded. So it was really exciting for me to learn that side of it, seeing that what does it take to actually bring a system to life. And that's kind of how I advertised it. So Matrix is multidiscipline engineering, and we kind of talk about what do the different disciplines do. And when we talk about the system integration side of our business, that's really what I share is is we bring the process to life. A lot of people who don't know what automation involves kind of look at it as this mysterious black box, and just leave it be, right? They don't ask too many questions. So for me to actually be able to lift the hood and understand that, you know what, this isn't actually that complicated, right? It's fun. It's like building, it's like logic puzzles is what it is. So it's just a different language, different technologies that we support. They're different languages you got to learn, ladder, structured text, different things like that. But it's fun. I've enjoyed it. So
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about that. How do you explain to lay people what you do?
so it's tough. So when you think about, so we'll look at CSIA in general. System integration, or a system integrator means so many different things. Even like when I attend the conference every year and have conversations, there are so many different system integrators that do so many different things. And so for me to struggle to even talk to other system integrators about what it is exactly that we do, it's tough. So Matrix specifically, we focus more around the process control, industrial manufacturing. So doing that large scale process control. So what I like to do is try to put it into terms that people can relate to. We do a lot in food and bev, and then let's see. So food and bev is an easy one because like making soup, for example. What I'll do is I'll share. So when you're in your kitchen, right, and you're chopping up vegetables, and you put it in a pot, and you add the water, you add the vegetables, you turn the heat on, you mix it up, right? You set a timer on your oven. You're doing that for yourself, and it's all manual, and it's very small scale. So for industrial manufacturing on a large scale, we still make soup, right? We just do it very large scale. So instead of somebody chopping up the vegetables and put them into a pot, we actually automate that whole process. We weigh how much ingredients get put in. We use hoppers. We control a hopper to dump it in. We measure how much water goes in. We can control the temperature of that giant vessel where all the materials go in. We can control the speed of a mixer that's keeping it mixed up, right? Depending on the soup, we might add in some additional liquid material for raw ingredients. It's just in the timer. We know how long it's going to cook for. Once it hits that temperature, we've got timers that are going to say, "Hey, we're done now. It's trying to transfer it somewhere else." So I try to put it in terms that people can relate to. That, hey, you do this yourself on a small scale. We do it very similar on a large scale, just using industrial grade equipment, right?
Yeah, that's a really good example, actually. I always use the one of like a bottling plant. Like you see the bottles going down, something squirts in, something puts the cap on, something. But this one's even better. It's even more simple. I appreciate you sharing that with me.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about the matrix process. I guess that ties into this next question, which is what's unique about how you approach a project. I assume those two things are related.
Yeah. So actually, as I mentioned before, so Matrix does more than just more than system integration. We're full service engineering. So I think that in itself brings some uniqueness to how we look at and deliver projects. That other system integrators, they only have that one perspective on, I'm doing my part, and I may or may not be working with other partners that are delivering the engineering side of it. Where at Matrix, we work alongside those other the mechanical, the process, piping, electrical. We've even got a facilities team that does civil, structural, architectural. So we talk to those guys regularly. So we understand the different perspectives of those that we're working with, whether it's a full EPC project that we're delivering, or we're working with our coworkers, our friends sitting on the other side of the building, or we are just providing system integration services, and we're working with other companies that they're delivering they're delivering the design inputs that we may need, P&IDs, right, instrument lists, uh, stuff like the process group providing the control narratives, stuff like that. So we understand their perspective of it. So in a sense, we think that it provides us, it provides that added value to the client when working with us. So
Yeah, so I would be interested to hear more about maybe the stats of matrix. Like, How big is it? How many branches? How many employees? Or something to put it into perspective.
Yeah, so Matrix, we are we're about 350 total employees when you look at the entire company as a whole. And we're headquartered where I sit here in it's technically it's Maumee, Ohio, but think of Toledo. It's Northwest Ohio, so think of Toledo, Ohio. And we do have regional offices throughout the US. So we have, let me try to run through them here off the top of my head. So Cincinnati, Ohio, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, Kansas City, Denver, Atlanta, and then breaking news. I think it's okay to share this because it was just announced today in our internal company town hall. But we are opening another brick and mortar regional office in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I'm very excited about that. Given my life sciences background,
Yeah, I was just gonna
kind of where
say,
I
yeah,
started. Yeah, that's where I started, and a lot of my experiences in that industry, and that's a hotbed down there.
yeah, biotech, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
right there in the RTP. So
yeah,
yep, a lot in that area.
amazing.
So we're excited for it.
Congratulations, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe there's travel for in your future, maybe.
yeah, I'd sign up for it.
Yeah. How much of your business is repeat, would you say?
Um, I mean the exact percent changes, but it's roughly 85,
Mhm.
roughly 85. It's high 80s,
Yeah.
85%.
Guys, real quick, I want to talk about the CSIA Industrial Automation Exchange. If you need to find a system integrator or supplier for a project, this is where you should start. You can search by industry, specialty, territory, certifications, then compare companies side by side. It's a great way to streamline and jumpstart your search. Now, if you are an SI or a vendor, this is also good for you. Why? Because search has gotten weird. AI generated answers, zero click results. A lot of people are getting their answers and moving on without ever landing on your website. That means you need to show up where your buyers are. And that is exactly what a well industry specific directory like the Exchange does for you. Look, I admit that no one really knows how to get into AI search results, or even frankly, if it will matter long term or short term. But I do know that preliminary research suggests that industry directories and review platforms are more likely to be cited by AI tools. Even by traditional search standards, the Exchange stands up like a champ. So go check it out at www.csiexchange.com. Then see if it makes sense for you. See you on the interwebs. What advice would you give to a prospective customer researching controls engineers or system integrators?
So I guess shameless plug for CSIA is I would say look for if you can find one that's certified, right? Find an integrator who is CSIA certified. I would say at a minimum you want to find somebody who's at least a member, an active member of CSIA. There's tremendous value and benefit of being a member of CSI, and then even more so um, certified. There's a lot that goes into the certification. So if you can find one that's certified, even better. But the other thing I'd say is um, look for one that's well established. There's a lot of integrators out there. There's a lot of we've seen a lot that kind of branch off and do their own thing, and really what I would suggest is you look for those that have proven themselves. They've been around for a while. They have a good track record. If you go to our website, it's full of testimonials. I mean, even the 85% repeat business, I mean, it speaks for itself, right?
Yeah.
So look for one that's has a proven track record. And then what I think is very important is you want to find one that you enjoy working with, right? So the work itself, there's a lot of system integrators, there's a lot of engineering firms, there's a lot of people that can do what we do. But I think where Matrix shines and something that we feel really proud about is how we really like to partner with clients. We like customers to become clients to become partners, right? And how we do that is we really follow. So we follow 31 fundamentals, And three of those really key in on kind of what I'm trying to get at here. It's investing in relationships, delivering legendary service, and then creating a great impression. And that's all about how does the customer feel, right? Did they feel good about working with us? Do they want to work with us again, or did we just deliver a solution, right? Did we come in, do what was our defined scope? We delivered a system, it works, and great. Or did they enjoy working with us? Do they want to call us back and say, "Hey, let's do this again," right? So to me, I would recommend you look for that somebody that actually you enjoy working with. So
100%.
yeah,
Yeah, I think we all like to think of ourselves as like data driven, logical thinkers, but really there's a good portion of our decision making that's based just on how we feel, our vibes, our instincts, or what have you, for better or for
exactly.
worse.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, yep. So
In your opinion, what's the biggest challenge facing the automation marketplace today and in the future?
um, probably no surprise here. You could probably guess what I'm going to say. It's AI. It's the use of AI,
Oh,
right? So I think it's everywhere. It tends to be the topic of conversation in any conference you go to, and I think everybody is looking at how they can use it, how can it benefit, not just how we deliver solutions, but how we operate as a business, right? And it's not just within system integration; it's everywhere.
mm,
Everywhere you look,
mm,
everybody is using AI. My kids at school, right? I sent him a screenshot of this logic puzzle, something about like weighing rocks, and you can only weigh it twice or whatever. And I was like, he's a smart kid. I was like, let's see if he can get this one. And I sent it to him. His first answer was, "Well, you just pick them up and you hold them and figure out which one's heavier." I was like, "No, no, no. That's you're missing the point." And he's like, "Oh, okay." So then he said the response he sent me clearly was from ChatGPT. So he did not bother to put any thought into it. He's just like, "I'm gonna go get the answer," and he
yeah,
sent it to me. I'm
yeah,
like, "Dude, you're supposed to put some thought into this, right?"
yeah.
And that's what scares me. That
Mhm,
part is what scares me, is
mhm.
we need to avoid letting AI think for us, do things for us, right? AI is meant to support us. So as a company, we use Microsoft Copilot,
Yeah.
and I always give that an example that it's called Copilot
Oh,
for a reason. It's not
yeah.
pilot; it's Copilot.
Mhm.
So that is the that's AI is not going away. We need to learn to adopt it, figure out how we can best use it, but we need to be cautious of not letting it do the work for us, not letting it think for us, right? Give the example of there's a couple things over time, like the first one you might think of, it'd be like the typewriter, right?
Yeah.
Pen to paper, pencil to paper, and then the typewriter comes around and you start using that. Well, it didn't come up with the words for you, right? It just helped you, right?
Yeah.
And AutoCAD in this, I guess, in the kind of this industry, that's a better example is AutoCAD, where drafters would do things on paper, and then the AutoCAD comes out and it made things much more efficient. You could do more work in less time, more efficiently, but AutoCAD doesn't do the design for you, right? It just assists. It makes it quicker, more efficient. So that to me is how we need to learn to leverage AI, is let it assist us, not do the work for us and not think for us. Because otherwise you'll end up being like my son, where you stop thinking and you just go ask ChatGPT, and that's where you get your answers from. So
Yeah. What worries me is that it's not really thinking. It's because
it's not. No, it's not
so
thinking at all.
yeah, that's what worries me more than anything is people will put something into one of these, I use Claude, and
Yeah.
then you get the answer and think of it because the computer said it, it's right, but it's just regurgitating stuff it scraped off the web, so it's predicting what the next word would be or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not really doing any thinking, so
Right.
that makes me more nervous than anything. This halo effect
Yeah.
that comes with it, is
Yep.
kinda scary. Having said that, I used it today to compare insurance quotes. So
I was gonna say I do use it quite a bit. I find it good for research,
yeah,
like pulling a lot of information together for me versus instead of me just having to go manually brute force my way through it. it pulls a lot of that together for me.
Yeah.
But then I make a decision based on the information that it provides, right?
Yeah.
I
You have
don't
to
ever
verify.
say, "Hey, just give me the answer," and I'll blindly run with it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you definitely have to verify. I also think where I see a bit of a struggle is people use the word AI, and it's such a broad term. It can mean um, AGI, right? AGI can mean LLMs. It can mean internal AI. It can mean external AI. Like machine learning, I think people think of that. Like it's such a broad term, and so even getting our heads around what we're talking about when we talk about
True.
AI, that's the
Yeah,
first question, right?
exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Oh my goodness. Let me ask you a question. Don't get mad. How many people in your life truly understand what it is that you do? I'm willing to guess the answer is not too many. I get it. So many of us toil in anonymity. But what if I told you that I have a place where you can go to meet and talk and commiserate with people who do understand what you do because they do the same thing? Amazing. I know. But that's really the bottom line what CSIA is all about. One way to get started finding your people is with CSIA's learning and networking opportunities called special interest groups. These groups are aligned around topics such as emerging leaders or marketing and meet virtually throughout the year and in person as well during the CSIA conference. We will be bringing more online throughout the year, but for now, if either of those topics sound interesting, go to www.controlsys.org/events to check out what we've got lined up. Full disclosure, you do need to be a member of CSIA to join the marketing SIG, but the Emerging Leaders one is open to anyone who wants to give it a try. So why not take a minute and check out the upcoming schedule at www.controlsys.org/events. Who knows, maybe there are some other online events that strike your fancy as well. Hope to see you there. All right, so back to CSIA and Matrix. Explain to me a little bit about why Matrix became a member of CSIA.
Yeah, so actually, Matrix is one of the founding members, right?
Yeah.
Back in, I think, was it 94,
Mhm.
1994?
That's right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
Matrix was one of the founding members, so that's pretty exciting
Yeah.
to know, and I know that some of the kind of the succession along in leadership along the way that there's been some guys that have gone, and I really enjoy when I go to the conference that they'll still be asked about, like, oh, hey, how is so and so? I haven't seen him in a while, and well, he's retired but enjoying retirement, so we've been in it for a while.
Yeah.
So I guess the better question isn't why did we join, but it's really why do we stay engaged, right? Why do we stay engaged and every few years renew our certification is probably the better question to answer. And to me, that's pretty easy. Why do we? There's a couple reasons. Why do we get this recertification? Um, to me, it's all about making sure that we stay up on the um, ever evolving best practices, right? So stay current on that. It's a good committee. I actually sit on the best practices committee. A lot of smart people in that group. Sometimes I don't know if I belong or not, but it's a lot of smart people in there, and making sure that we stay up on the best practices, and really it's about proving that we do what we say we're going to do. So it's building out your processes and your procedures to align with the best practices, but then to get the certification, you go through the audit that then demonstrates you have to prove that, yeah, actually, I do follow the best practices. And when you follow the best practices, not only are you going to perform better, execute projects better, you're just going to run your business better. So that's an easy one. Why do we get the certification? The other benefits of being engaged with CSIA, because there's a lot of members that aren't certified, right? That they still stay actively engaged. They're members. They attend the conferences. Um, there's some on the best practice committee that aren't certified, and that's okay. Um, they're smart. They contribute. They have a lot of good ideas. They're just not in a position where they can put the effort into achieving that certification, and that's okay. They'll get there eventually. But being part of CSIA, an active member, and attending like the conference and all that, which I'm really looking forward to in a couple weeks, by the way, is all the collaboration, um, meeting with the other members, going to the conference. Like I mentioned, sitting on the best practices committee. We have an agenda. We have when we meet, we have things that we need to discuss. But I found myself, if it's an hour long meeting and kind of in my subgroup, I found that we go over half hour afterwards just talking about other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Hey, what are you dealing with? What are you one of the last ones was on AI,
Yeah.
right? It was one of the other system integrators, one of their executive leaders was asking me, "Hey, what's Matrix doing about AI? I feel like we're behind." I'm like,
Yeah.
"I feel like we're behind."
Everybody does.
Everybody feels like they're behind, yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's really what it is to me. It's the we were a founding member and we stay actively involved and get the certification for those many reasons. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So a couple of points of clarification. While we're recording this, the conference is in the future, but when this is released, the conference will be in the past. The time
Oh,
space
okay.
continuum is always messing with my head.
Yeah.
And number two, the best practices, thank you for serving on that committee. It's really an incredible thing that there are people dedicating hours and hours of volunteer time to crowdsource this. I don't know, is it 200 pages? I mean, it's an
Yeah.
incredible output of work from a volunteer team giving willingly. It's just incredible to me. And
Yeah.
it's like on the 6th edition too. It's not like they put a bunch of effort into it and let it die. No, constantly updating it, constantly rethinking it, having
Yep.
it vetted. It's really incredible, and I agree with you that with the certification, there are plenty of companies that will download the best practices and follow the best practices. They just haven't taken that step to
Yep.
get that third party audit, which I think for a lot of companies, particularly as they grow, that third party audit really holds them accountable. Like they made it ahead, like at 300 people, they were super tight.
Yeah.
Right. And they start to grow and now things are drifting and people are doing things their own way. So having that audit like brings everybody back in and locks them in, to all working towards the same standards or SOPs or whatever it is that
Exactly.
we're
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
So,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, ensures that consistency. Yep.
yeah,
Not
100%.
just consistency, but it's you're consistent with industry best practices, right?
Yeah.
It's one thing to
I
be consistent, right? Don't be consistent on poor practices. That
Right.
doesn't do anything.
That doesn't seem right. Yeah, and the
Yeah,
other thing to know about it is it's not prescriptive. We're not gonna tell you how to run your business. We're just gonna make sure that you're thinking about all the things that you should be thinking about,
correct.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Yep.
All right, so now switching completely to a different theme or topic or whatever. If you couldn't be a system integrator, what career would you choose instead?
So it's interesting. So I'm far from retirement, but I think about this regularly because I always like to look ahead and plan, and I'm one of those types. I'm a planner, and so I think about, well, what will I do when I retire one day, and I kind of fall back on, and it could probably work today even if this job just went away or whatever. I'd like to be a handyman.
I didn't see that one coming. I honestly did not see that one. I've had pilot, baseball
Yeah,
player, travel
yeah,
writer, handyman. Did
yeah.
not see that one, but it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so it's
So,
it's one of those things, it's like, I fidget with so much stuff around the house, like, there's always stuff breaking. I gotta knock on wood that I don't get home tonight and something else is broken, but,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just enjoy the
Do
the
you?
the problem solving, right?
Uh,
The troubleshooting,
yeah,
the and to be a handyman, then that means I'm going out and I'm providing that service for others, that they're coming to me with a problem, and
mhm,
I have to help solve it, come up with a solution, and then fix it.
yeah,
And as a handyman and not just a, let's say, a plumber, right? It's a variety of
yeah.
things, right? And that's kind of what we do here at Matrix, right? We
Mhm,
we we provide a variety of services to a variety of clients in different industries and whatnot, and they come to us with problems, and we offer them solutions,
yeah,
and it'd be very similar, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I haven't been in this industry for 23 years because I don't enjoy that type of stuff,
Right,
right? I
right.
do enjoy it. So
Yeah,
to me, I think that's probably what I would do um, if not, probably a soccer coach.
Mm,
Yeah, because
yeah,
I
be
played
rewarding.
yeah, I played through high school, and I played rec ever since. I've been playing for years. I basically hung up my boots when, my son started playing travel soccer, and so I
Yeah,
coached that team,
yeah.
and I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
love
those
it.
kids are so
Yeah.
good and, like, enthusiastic and very
Yeah.
rewarding,
It
100%.
it it is. It's very similar to, kinda in my position now, like a leadership position where you're kind of strategizing and you're planning and you're mentoring, and that's a lot of what it is, and it's encouraging, right? So a lot of the stuff that I really enjoy, and so we'll see if anybody would take me on as a paid soccer coach one day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, you're also looking at people's strengths and putting them in the right place, talking about smart
exactly. Yeah,
building good teams, yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
So
lots of really rewarding stuff.
and I'm not much of a golfer, so I got to find something to do in retirement. That's just why I even put more thought into the heck am I going to do when I retire someday.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you'll have projects. My thing about doing handy projects around the house is it always requires 3 trips to the hardware store. Doesn't matter how much
minimum,
you plan. You're like,
minimum.
I put everything on the list. How do I have to be going back again?
Even when you try to think ahead and you
Yes,
think, I'm just going to go and buy all this stuff,
yes,
even if I don't need it, I'm going to buy it all. I'm going to take it home and I'm going to use what I need and I'll return the rest. You get home and you're like, why did I not think of that one other piece? Right?
100%.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's not just me.
Oh no. Uh, Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, I do enjoy a good hardware store, so I don't
Yeah.
mind going
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple that are, like, totally old school, like, still privately owned, so that's filled with
Oh,
aisles and aisles of dusty stuff, you don't even know what it is anymore, but it's fun to look.
yeah.
Love it. Love
Yeah.
it. Maybe even some worms, maybe there's even, like, a refrigerator with worms in it, you don't know.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Alright, final question.
Yep.
What 3 podcasts or books would you recommend?
Oh, let's see. So, I guess podcasts. I'm a big college football fan, so
Mm,
I don't know that I would recommend that necessarily because everybody's got their own preferences. But when it's podcasts, that tends to be what I listen to. But
yeah.
on the book side, I do more audiobooks than I
Mm,
do actually printed paperback books that I read. So audiobooks, there's a few of them. One I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna say quick read, but a quick listen for me. It was the new 1 Minute Manager.
oh,
So I listened to that one a little while ago, and I would recommend that one for anybody in a management position because it's very well written, very well easy to read or listen to, and it's very concise on the objectives of what they're trying to get at about basically setting goals, attainable goals, and then monitoring and tracking progress against those goals where you're basically saying, hey, great job, what you just did is going to get you to that goal, or hey, pause, hold on, that is kind of contradicts what you should be doing to achieve that goal. So
mm,
they're really, it's those three simple steps
yeah,
that set a goal and then track against them, giving kudos to the things you do right, and then kind of flagging, "Hey, let's avoid this." So that was a good book. Um, the other one would have been, um, "Why Motivating People Doesn't Work and What Does."
oh,
That was another good one.
mhm,
And it kind of talks about, spoiler alert if you haven't read it, it's not about what you can do to motivate people because you can't, right? People are already motivated by something.
yeah,
So it's what can you do to support them so that they achieve what the book, they say it's science based, and they call it optimal motivation.
mm,
So what can you do to support your team, your employees, so that they then get themselves to that optimal motivation state? So
yeah,
yeah.
mhm,
And then another one, back to AI. So I just finished the AI driven leader,
mm,
which was a good one.
yes,
And that one put AI into a different perspective for me. What it kind of talks about is using AI as a thought partner. So kind of having conversations with it, setting the stage. There's some prompts that it gives you in the book on how you set things up. You tell it what role you want it to play. You tell it who you are, your objectives and stuff like that. And then you tell it, give me one response to it. Because if you use AI, you realize it will just flood you with stuff. And you're like, hold on, this is way too much at once. So you can tell it one response at a time, and we'll go back and forth on this. So the thing that they mentioned that really I cued in on was that it's basically, think about you being in a brainstorming session with a million people, right? That's really what it is. And that's consolidating all that thought from all those people where you're brainstorming, and it's consolidating into one voice that you can then have a conversation with. It just blew my mind to
Yeah.
think about it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot. We are Borg. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for today's episode of Talking Industrial Automation. If you are interested in learning more about Rob or Matrix, you can find them on the CSIA Industrial Automation Exchange at www.csiexchange.com. Thanks for listening, and thank you, Rob, for joining me today.
Yeah. Thank you.
If you enjoy this podcast, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also really help the show by leaving a review and sharing with colleagues. We're all just slaves to the logarithm now, so I gotta ask. Thanks for listening to the Talking Industrial Automation podcast. Thanks also to bensound.com and Wistia for the music bumpers. Until next time.